You are listening to These Walls Can Talk, a Hope Outdoor Gallery podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another awesome episode of These Walls Can Talk, which are stories about the Austin artistic community, stuff about the Hope Outdoor Gallery, and just crazy funny shit that have been going on in the world. I'm your host, Chris Scull, along with my sister, Andy Scull, founder of Hope Outdoor Gallery. And we got some pretty amazing guests today. My very good friend, Anthony Erickson, who is the founder of the Austin Music Video Fest that happens yearly here in town, as well as Eye in the Sky Media, where I believe you manage some badass bands, including one of my local favorites, Capiac. They're bi-coastal now, but yeah, so awesome, amazing band. As well as our other esteemed guest, Matt Ott, who is the founder of Black Fret, one of the most unique and amazing nonprofits that I know of that support local musicians. And I believe you've raised millions of dollars for local musicians throughout the years.
We have. That's the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out.
Well, we're so glad.
He's bringing the truth.
Yeah, we're so happy that y'all are here. We get to dive into some stories and just shoot the shit. So thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
It's our pleasure.
Amazing. Seriously, it's super special, this show and this format we've been doing by having like two creatives, and we just, heard so many amazing stories. So I can't wait to hear what you guys got, especially given the background. I mean, two guys who have started things, but also work with so many other creatives.
Well, we've worked together a lot too. We've collided, and that's one of the things I love about Austin. It's the biggest small town in the world.
True.
This guy even took over my office down at Native for like, can I stay there for a couple of nights? And like 6 weeks later, I'm like, can I come back to my office?
Oh yeah, I heard about things that went on in that sleepover.
I don't know these stories yet. Maybe we're gonna find out today.
We might get to that. Yeah.
Did you get invited to like a secret party called Pillow Fight? And then you're like, oh, that's my place.
That's my place.
I had to put the sheets through the washer about 3 times. But other than that, you left the place in great shape. And no, that's the thing. Austin, is the biggest small town in the world. But, you were in town doing stuff with Capiac and doing stuff with, doing some great shows. And, coming together to help art is what I think the city's all about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you've done with the organization you built. It's what at the core of what I do for, when I've started an artist I've championed. So, it was great to have your help helping me help others,
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
totally.
like one of those Russian dolls,
Yes.
Just open them up and there's another little magical artistic surprise inside.
And a sister and a brother.
That's right. That's right.
Right. But for real, yeah, I feel, the history of this city and watching the collaboration between creatives just leads to all the incredible experiences and stories of which is our growth and development and makes it fun as fuck. So
Never boring.
yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Well, I definitely love also having both of you as organizations that completely figured out ways to keep things going during COVID. That was really when we started to see some cool, fun collaboration going on. Like, what do we got? What do we got to do?
Yeah. I mean, shoot. COVID feels still like a crazy fever dream. And I've got a couple of resolutions this year. I normally don't do New Year's resolutions. Why fix what's not broken? Kidding. Totally kidding. I'm a wreck. I'm an absolute wreck. But, this year I've resolved that 2022 cannot be a copy paste of 2020 and 2021. It can't. Those years were innovative. We did do cool stuff. When South by got canceled and we wound up doing 5 days of live streaming from the oldest business in Texas, Schultz Garden, with 31 bands, raised $25,000 for another nonprofit in town, HAM, got everyone paid. That feels like a lifetime ago. It feels like a crazy fever dream. But so many good things have come out of it that we are going to keep going. But I feel like 2022 needs to be a year where we're not doing things because we have to. It needs to be a year that we're doing things because we want to, because we see where we want to take things and don't have to pivot and go this direction to get there and so on. But it's like, nope, that's where we're going. We're going to do cool stuff. And even at a personal level, my wife bought me a pottery class. So I'm gonna play with clay for the first time since I was like 14 years old.
Oh my ghost.
So excited.
Oh my ghost! That's what I thought right away.
Tootsie. I know. Get used to it.
Oh, I'm just already putting the Righteous Brothers on, getting your fingers ready. So,
Do you think that was her motivation? Do you think that's why she bought
Is there a
it?
fantasy
It is a
there?
wheel throwing class. It's a Roku pottery.
I mean,
Man, I think I just got ghosted by my wife.
wow.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
my
that's a good
gosh.
thing.
In the good way, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a selling perk with the class.
Well, when she says, "Can I call you
Exactly.
Patrick?" I'm like,
Ditto.
"What?"
To the
Now
open
it's
arms
all
of the
making
sea.
sense.
Yeah.
Nobody puts who in the corner?
Wow.
Baby?
How
Yeah.
relaxed do you feel?
Will there be some dancing after? Dirty.
Dirty.
All right. Wow, that's great. But I mean, that's a good example of just getting out of your comfort zone and learning a new creative medium at the very least.
Yeah.
Let alone, expanding other things within your life.
There you go.
I love it. Look at him; he loves it.
Just throwing hot, wet clay.
That's what it all comes down to. And then evidently, like peeing on the pottery or putting feathers and all sorts of crazy stuff on it, then burn directly into the pottery, and that makes the glaze. It's a Japanese glazing technique called roku, and I was first exposed to it because COVID caused my wife and I to entirely shift to a category of television that I understand is called low risk. So everything we watch is low risk television. The Great British Baking Show, the Great Pottery Throwdown, like stuff where there's no drama.
Yeah.
There's no, oh my gosh, will that character survive? No. Our lives are stressful
The
enough.
stakes are low.
Stakes
Yeah,
are low, low risk.
Last I checked on my settings of all the apps, I mean, you can use the ones that the parents can watch. You don't have to just do the kids one. Just say it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Oh man, but true thing that COVID just brought up stuff like, I mean, I ended up watching Bake Squad with my
Yeah.
kids. Like,
Yeah.
Were you
Why not?
baked it easy? Were you?
no, I'm allergic.
Good point.
I wish. I wake up this way.
we kept this.
We all have our fun little device, our little things that we like.
Yeah, for sure. Which is another topic on this show. Definitely, the crazy creative, what it took to make the cool ass project. The microdosing, the 50 pots of coffee. I mean, whatever it took is fun to share on this show. The behind the scenes stuff.
Like pissing on clay.
Yeah. Well, I macro dosed yesterday, so I feel like I'm microdosing right now.
you
But
go.
that's left over from yesterday.
Afterglow.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Afterglow.
right.
Nice.
That's right. Yeah.
After snow. Oh, amazing. Okay, so let's go back. How did you guys originally meet? I mean, I feel like, Matt, I know you two have been like an original, and we had this in another show, an Austin original.
Yeah. Been here a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then how did you guys end up meeting?
I mean, I'm sure it was through artists that I work with that started being part of the Black Fret community. Mobley, I know, has been a Black Fret recipient at least once, and then
Yep.
some of the other artists that I work with have participated. And I'm great friends with Heather Wagner Reed as well, who was and is still publicist.
A
with-
singular, my publicist.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a badass. Heather was actually one of my first mentors. She was
Amazing.
I worked for her company for a couple years, year and a half or so, and then she was going to hire me, but she got pregnant with her first kid and was kind of pivoting, taking on more clients, and that kind of forced me into like, well, what am I doing? And I started my own business. So I do credit her a lot with the like, hey, you kind of helped me start my thing, because I could have just gone the path of like, I'll be a publicist and work in music and events and so forth, but then pivoted from there.
And
Yeah.
everything Anthony just said is true. So the theme continues. We
Verified.
did meet through music. I do believe that Heather Wagner Reed did at one point introduce us somewhere. But truth be told, and this is high praise, you bugged the shit out of me.
Okay.
Yeah. You did. And once you understood what Black Friday was about, what we were trying to do, you believed in your artist so much that like I could go back, I could pull, how many emails did Anthony
Yes,
send me,
it's back there
back
somewhere.
then to look at this
Compulsively.
video, look at this, look at da. And sure enough, some of our major grant recipients, have been artists that Anthony managed and hustled for. And that's exactly what a manager should do. If you had not bugged the shit out of me, I'd be like, oh man, okay, no, don't. He's not your manager.
Politely
Go somewhere else.
persistent. That's what we call it.
Oh,
Sometimes.
he was no.
Politely.
He was not polite.
Persistent.
Yeah.
Persistently
Stick
persistent.
with persistent. We don't need
Sure,
a modifier.
Well,
Yeah, we're all good.
I mean, I like to think obviously the talent backed it up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what always. I have some people that have been persistent with me that I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to politely decline because it's just not there at, at the end. But if it's there to
Yeah.
back it up, then it
Well,
it helps.
that's persistent proof in that persistent pudding.
Yeah, and I mean,
Oh, my Lord.
There's so many. There's so many incredible musicians in this town, and at one point in their development, they were not incredible.
Sure, yeah.
And some musicians go on to be incredible, and some musicians hang out at I'm having fun. And I love this, but I'm hopeful my mom will listen. But this is such a fertile pool of such incredibly helpful and generous artists in this town who really do try to elevate each other. And it's amazing how many musicians do play in multiple bands. And it's amazing to hear that cross-pollination and the idea swapping and even for my bands this year, it's hard. It's harder and harder to break your band. You need a great song. You absolutely need a great song. And to write a great song, you need lots of inspiration. You need lots of blood, sweat, and tears. You need to catch your lightning in a bottle. There's so many things that you need to be able to do. And then even once that great song's there, let's not even get started on promoting it and getting it out there and getting it heard and listened to so that it can actually break. And all of a sudden you're playing, festivals and so on.
Oh, yeah.
But the I'm inspired by all of it. The whole continuum. The people who are just starting out and the people who have, and the spoons, who keep making great music. It's to me it's an honor to live in this town that is like that.
I love hearing you say that, and again, having both of you here, because what's so cool to me with what we observed and continue to do with Hope Outdoor Gallery is that we always refer to it as this visual open mic. And through these organizations become platforms where creatives can feel inspired because they can see the next step, the next level, the inspiration. They get a chance to try and fail and try and succeed. That for us, just having artists be able to play on really large walls, that like when you hire a chef, you want to like taste the food. You don't want to like see the recipe, right? You want to like see what you can do. And the same with the band. They got to have a good platform to really be able to shine. And then I feel in the visual world, there's also not all creatives are great performers. A lot of audio artists are really really good with just being behind the scenes. And so we get to see all these different levels and ways that they get to play together, and then crazy shit they do together. So yeah, I mean, definitely I'm hoping on this show to get some gems from you guys, from any like insane stories of creative projects, because we have like endless amounts, I feel, in this city.
Yeah, Andy, I have to shout you out to have all of us sitting in this room, because you create as well, Chris. But the fact that we're all enabling the creation of art, that we're giving the canvas to the artists or the stage, or the video screen. It's fun because they all mash up and they all mix together. I'm looking at the books on the table, and I was a kid here when they started trying to build those condos.
Right.
And I had one of my very, very best friends. I'm godfather to one of their daughters. Lived on 11th, right there on Castle Hill.
Dude,
Yeah.
the stories of the people that lived on 11th and Baylor. I mean, Janis Joplin. I mean, but yeah.
It's a magical little neighborhood. I lived right down the street at 9th and Baylor, and my friends lived up on 11th and Blanco, right on Castle Hill. And I remember their father was a developer, and I remember when they started trying to build those condos back in the 80s.
The foundation.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was saying, I can't believe the banks are getting behind that. It's not going to stay up. That hill is clay. It's going to slide. There's no way, blah, blah. And that's exactly what happened.
I know.
And fuck yeah. I mean, like, you know, it's so amazing that then became our playground. Like before Hope was Hope, that's where we hung out, you know, got tetanus, played hide and seek, you know, like it was dangerous and it was super fun. It was super fun. You know, we'd have bottle rocket wars there.
Oh my
back when you could
gosh.
buy bottle rockets in Texas.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
right?
It was, I mean, hold it by the tail, light it, and then kind of push it out. And, you know, it was crazy stuff. But really fun. And we all have our eyes. So
So call it a
we've
win.
got that. Yeah.
That's
call it a
wild.
win.
I didn't know the history of that site.
Yeah.
But it's interesting kind of analogy of from the failings of something else and the ashes of something else, you know, grew this opportunity and training ground and space for other people to, you know, build and grow their creativity from.
Yeah, well, which really, to me, is the process of all things, you know. Then that right now is a great time for us to talk more about failures, so others can be inspired by knowing you try again, you know, and that's what gives like the fun,
Yeah.
you know, and the confidence and the laughter.
Yep.
Like, oh, remember that time? Remember that time we tried that stupid shit? But for sure, yeah, the story of the foundation when Vic and Dick said yes to the project, it had been sitting there vacant for 30 years,
Yep.
but known locally as the foundation.
Yeah.
And an inspirational playground for creatives. It just was, you know, secret or only if you knew.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's in plain sight. It's right there, you know, but it's on this funny little sleepy part of Lamar, and you wouldn't look at it and think, oh yeah, that's, unless you're, you know, cool, you know, going and hanging out there. You know, that was I lived in Clarksville for about 3 years there, and it's funny to think back, like, you know, on what graffiti art has become now, even from my own personal attitude. There was a time I was on the married student housing shuttle bus for UT, coming back from campus. I was on the Junior Longhorn Bowling League, and every Saturday morning,
I'm sorry, what?
the Junior
Do
Longhorn.
you still have your jacket?
They didn't give us jackets, but I got a trophy.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
We got to NFT that.
That's
did-
everything.
Did you get a little?
Everything.
Did you get a little pin?
I did have a little pin. There was a pin.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Bowling pin.
We got to
Yeah.
go bowling after this.
we do have to go bowling after this.
Dude.
I'm on
And it
Matt's
was-
team.
Yeah, and it
Damn
was you know, overhead projectors and this and that, and yeah, it was hilarious. But I'm riding back home. My sister was also a Junior Longhorn bowler.
Stop. Can she come? She's on my team.
Yeah, yeah. Chris, come on down. She's in New York right now.
Nice.
But we're sitting in the back of the bus because, you know, it's bouncy and fun. And there's
Sorry.
a guy gets on the bus and
New album's
starts
dropping, bouncy and fun.
bouncy and fun.
Oh, you're not going to bring it back at the bus? Oh,
That too.
dear.
That too.
That's the prequel. It's a theme. It's a trilogy. But there's
Never
a,
getting through
there's
this
a
story.
there's a guy sitting in front of us who whips long kind of greasy hair, and he whips out a Sharpie and he starts writing on the back of the seat. And I think I'm 11 years old, and I'm up in arms. Oh my goodness, he's graffitiing. That's breaking the rules. That's public property. He's not supposed to do that. And my sister, who's older, is like, be cool. Be cool. Matt, it's okay. She's just getting increasingly annoyed at me. Matt, shh, shut up.
Matt,
Don't be a
snitches.
square.
Right,
Snitches
don't be a
get
square.
stitches. Snitches
Don't be a
get
square.
Stitches.
And I was about to have a breakthrough moment in my life because this guy finishes his art, which he was very intent on. He looks around, realizes he's exactly where he needs to be, pulls on the cord to stop the bus. They'd pretty much pull over anywhere back then, and they pull over. The guy, as he's running off the bus, had obviously heard me, you know, objecting. He turns around and kind of, you know, gives me the both finger thing, you know, as he gets off the bus, and he trots off the bus with his wild eyes and wild-eyed look, and I'm just confused. And then I look at the back of the seat, and written on the back of the seat, in that wonderful textured, you know, metal, is the word butthole surfers with a perfect little anus right in the middle between the two words. And I swear to God, that had to be Gibby Haynes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 1981,
Yep.
82, you know, somewhere around there. You know, they're just starting out.
And they
you know.
lived on Baylor Street apparently, too.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adds up.
Yeah.
And you almost knocked him out. You almost knocked him
That's
out.
right. That's right. I was about to go 11-year-old
You might-
kung fu on him.
You might have
Coulda ended
changed
the band,
the course
yeah.
of history
Yeah.
and punk. And
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
No, but that was in that moment I was like, oh, that's cool because that's hilarious. That's fucking funny.
And then 11-year-old you
Butthole
came
surfers.
around.
What
Yeah.
does that mean? And my sister and I giggled like kids. I mean, we just thought it was the funniest thing we ever saw.
you ran home and Googled it. Oh, right.
Exactly.
Didn't exist.
No. No, but that changes the game and changes your perspective, and it's like a starting point.
Yep.
Feel like, okay, what's next? Let's
Yeah.
go.
That was a long story, wasn't it?
I like it. I
Oh,
love
it was a great
Yeah.
story.
Okay.
Yeah. We interjected as much as possible.
Keep it going.
Yeah, but that honestly, I do. Again, when we did this book, there were hundreds of submissions, and I mean, the first book we were just documenting the park, but very quickly we could tell that this wasn't just about public art or street art or graffiti or murals. This was very quickly becoming this like creative, open art space for everybody, and that on a daily we would see families from Cedar Park, students from St. Ed's. I mean, it was just this, and then when the stories came in, it was just what? I mean, from marriage proposals to, I mean, just all kinds of crazy ass stories. So that's exactly what this show is for, because it's awesome, you know, to share that kind of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's got stories, and I think everyone's a storyteller, whether they think they are or not. And I think the more people can share their stories, the better off we're all going to be.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah. There's something about the park and those walls, and it's got all the names from Castle Hill Foundation, Hope Outdoor Gallery. And just as the city's evolved, what I love about that place was that if you showed up, you're looking at all this creative content on the walls, whether it's, you know, rubble or beauty or what have you. But then you get the bonus of once you get to that top and you turn around and then you see your city. You see that landscape, and every time you're there, from either day one, playing hide and seek or what have you, from your life to you know, the finale, you're watching the city evolve too. That skyline when the Capitol was the highest thing, and then Frost Bank was the highest, and now we're seeing all this. It's amazing how many memory stems hit from looking out as much as looking in.
Truth.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody got a tissue.
That's my moment. That's my moment. We're gonna add in a little bit of
And not even a pun in there.
I know.
Just heartfelt, you know?
but like
That was
You
me.
do-
That's
you-
why I need a tissue.
I didn't know you
Not
did sincere. I
make
didn't know.
it.
But there's
Make
the
it through
rarity.
one
A lot of times it's rare to talk to a friend that has been there from what seems like day one, and so I'm just intrigued. You know.
Yeah. Well, okay, but this brings up for me what we started seeing was all the musicians that started showing up and also using the park for as their platform. And the number of stories, and so I wondered about that with you guys, if you knew any. I mean, because we were just having them sent to us from YouTube and KUT. They're like,
Yep.
they did a live performance of someone playing guitar up on one of the decks. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, I definitely have seen plenty of that over the years, and various music video submissions of people performing there. I'd say my interesting kind of like personal, it doesn't have as much depth or history, but definitely was a good place to go smoke a joint, you know.
Oh, yeah, we knew about that for sure.
Yes, yeah.
Well, maybe you should probably share with anyone listening more about Austin Music Video Festival.
Sure, we're 7 years in. We did our 6th one this year due to a 2020 pause, but we started curating just Austin-based. We it really started with there should be more places for people to communally experience the music videos together again, because MTV had been long off music videos, and you don't every time we would do these little pop-up events, people were like, I don't remember the last time I watched music videos with people or got together and like, experienced it. And then, there were no rap parties for the crews and teams making music videos. And as we all know, Austin has grown so much in the film industry side of things as well. So these projects have just boomed, and it is such the training ground for working on new techniques, telling different stories, collaborating with musicians that, you might not get in the commercial space or the particular film or TV space. So, we started with, is there a wealth of, could we populate a music video festival worth of programming from Austin creatives? And like easily, yes. 100%. Year one was just like only Austin content, and it was packed and it was amazing and it was wild to see the level of that. Then we opened it up to international content too, and the idea was just showing those alongside each other and being able to kind of elevate both forms and show where this medium was going and who's all operating in it. And it's just taken on a life of its own, and we've done the traditional, what we call 2D kind of screenings, but then there's people doing things in virtual reality. There is interactive, web browser based music video experiences and stuff these days, and now NFTs and so forth. And people just kind of keep innovating the medium, and it's wild. It's really cool to, see the people in our community doing it, people internationally, and how it kind of feeds each other.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan. I mean, I think I shared with you at this last one that I hope I see the potential of it becoming our little Sundance, and then I know with Matt, like we hung out recently, and you're already expanding to so many other cities, and it's just so cool to come from this creative mecca that is constantly birthing great ideas, but to have it be within the creative community like this is just so dope.
Well said. Yeah. And I think, it's these intersections where we do come together, where I think we realize, so much of our power. I think about the visual EP that Mobley put out this year.
Oh, dude, stop.
Right.
I can't.
Yeah, no, I like the production value, the concept, like everything. Like I look at that and I'm like, the world needs to see this. Leyline did a video, EP release thing. Just blows my mind. I felt like I was watching one of my dreams, watching this thing. It was just so beautifully edited, not to mention beautifully shot. And I think that I love the idea of this becoming Austin's little Sundance, and I love the idea of the world coming to Austin to, celebrate music and visuals together in this way. I love how that medium's expanding, and I see real parallels, as we launch in Seattle, Colorado, additional cities down the road. We want to put these musicians on the road so that we're getting the very best music from those towns right here. We're sending Austin music out there. They're getting to audience faster. The local Black Fret chapter is going to pay them to play a show. It's going to be much lower risk for them to tour. And ultimately, they're going to get to also, an audience a lot faster than they would have, if they were trying to eke it out and just go it alone. We've got to help each other out. And frankly, I think that's where the fun is. Let's have fun while we do it. Let's, creating is fun.
Yeah. Well, and that cross-pollination, like you're saying, too, of people and places. And, like you mentioned about the people making full-length visual. It's like just more accessible than it's ever been for somebody to take on a project like that and find the collaborators and so forth. And that's where the magic happens, for sure.
It is. It's so fun. This magic is like throwing clay.
Yeah. Mobley, it is.
Sorry.
Absolutely. It's all right. It's all right.
Keep thinking about it.
No, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for my wife to hear this episode.
Yeah.
No, Mobley, I think was nominated this year, or rather, his audience drum was nominated this year in the Austin Music Awards for favorite or like best esoteric instrument, or whatever.
Oh, really?
And
Really?
Mobley's audience drum, which is a drum he takes and puts down in the audience. He gives a bunch of people drumsticks, and he's like, boom, boom, here's the beat, get to it. It's a magical freaking moment at his concerts when he does that. It is absolutely unreal how the walls between the audience and the performer truly collapse into nothing at that moment, and everyone is vibing. You know,
Yeah.
it's singular.
Well, and it was definitely, it was at a Black Fret Ball where I saw Mobley for the first time years ago, and I guess we
Paramount.
received it. Yeah, and immediately we just opened Native, and I texted my brother. I'm like, dude, we have got to book this guy for New Year's Eve. And I couldn't believe he was available. I went right up to him at the after party at Antone's, and I was like, hi, hey, can I? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, but that was the part to me, the whole interactive, and he blew my mind at New Year's, because here's a room that I knew really didn't even know this artist, and in one song by the end he had a whole room singing with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
like he just knew how to do it. And again, there's something about that, you know, in the water here that's just very inspirational and creative. But I think truly having things where you have the opportunity to try and fail, you know, like it really breeds like dynamic creatives and artists, that Mobley is just one, you know, that we've seen.
Y'all are doing my work for me. I don't have to promote my artist any further.
Well, I was going to
because
say
I
that,
did
I mean, the one downside of Mobley is having to deal with his manager, but you know, that's,
right.
that's you know,
You know, that's where it's
like
like,
it would be
no,
so easy.
It is
if-
funny. I looked back for your emails some time ago and saw that initial conversation of like, you were so great at Black Fret. Are you available for New Year's? You know, and following up on that conversation.
This is. I'm sorry. I've been talking too much. Please continue.
No.
Yeah.
But back to your point about Austin and like, what is this special sauce here and what is it in the water? And Austin is a training ground for the arts. That's our biggest asset, is this talent pool. And I think people gravitate here as a training ground. There's definitely more growing to be done as far as a music industry and certain pieces that are pivotal in broadcasting these things to more places. But I think, you know, inevitably the talent here and the kind of Lennon-McCartney effect of people pushing each other to do better and bigger and collaborating and having that room to fail. Austin's, long cultivated a lot of the right size music venue rooms too for artists to try and grow and fail.
Exactly.
And that is a really unique kind of cauldron of things spinning around.
Yeah.
That you don't see everywhere, and that obviously is what attracted us here, and it kept us here, and we threw our things in the cauldron, and it built things to elevate that too. But it really is something that's just not everywhere, and it is it's the special sauce here for sure.
I think it. What I try to compare all of these different mediums and the areas and places in the city that you can do them. We've talked with a lot of artists, visual artists, that were at the park and they called it college, or they called it training grounds, or they called it community, or they called it church, but they got to mess up a lot. They got to meet a lot of other people that do different styles, learn from each other, collaborate, support each other, say supplies or water or anything. And yet in these other mediums, I try to imagine what you guys are doing, which is I've watched all these great musicians that I'm just fanning out at, but watching them collab, watching them support, watching y'all kind of build more opportunities for them, either to get funding or to get mentors or collaborators or something. And just kind of, I love seeing all these different styles do the same shit, because there's other cities that it's very competitive. Sure. It's like, I need to kind of stay away from that because that artist is too close to what I'm doing. It may be, it depends. But and a lot of times it's like, no, let's join forces, or let's do this or do that.
Yeah, and there's definitely you can. Number one, I got to say I love the cauldron analogy, and I want to talk about some folks who can throw other ingredients in there in this city. But people who come to creativity and an abundance mentality, where they're going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to put my art out there. I'm going to put it out for consumption. I'm going to dig when someone wants to cover my song, wants to take that stem, wants to do whatever, and helps their fellow musician succeed. they're, in my opinion, putting fuel in their tank as well. Because I see both sides in the industry. I see, in the city, there are artists who are very closed, who kind of want to do their own thing in their own little silo, and they're going to do it all on their own, and they're not going to, they don't need anyone's help. They're going to do it, And there are others who are, taking this real community attitude, and the ones who are taking the community attitudes are the ones I'm seeing get the better gigs, build the better network, get to audience faster, and so on. All those folks that you mentioned were putting stuff in the cauldron. I'm going to throw, the tech industry and all the 100+ people a day that are moving to Austin. They're changing this city, and I have one ask for them, which is to become an Austinite as quickly as they can. To me, being an Austinite means being nice when you drive and supporting the aspects of the culture that you love. If it's music, if it's visual art, whatever it is, like, get into the culture. Even if you're not a visual artist yourself, like one of our artists from 2020, Moving Panoramas, they got the shaft because of COVID. They got an $18,000 grant, or an $8,000 grant that year. Didn't really get to play many live events because of COVID. But we had put them up for consideration about 2 or 3 years before. They didn't get nominated that year, but an executive from Dell loved their music so much that he hired them and paid them $15,000 for a corporate gig. Leslie told me that she felt like she got her grant that year.
Yeah,
that would have never happened if this Dell executive hadn't become a Black Fret member who had the budget to hire a band at a great rate that then allowed them to make One, which was an incredible freaking album that got tons of airplay. So our members were like, oh, we need to nominate Moving Panoramas, and then they get nominated again. So it's this beautiful story arc of up and down and the community coming together. Time, treasure, talent. People, combining all those to make magic happen.
Oh, yeah. I was remembering that when we started the park, part of what I really enjoyed watching was the same unique collaboration that goes on a film set. Mm-hmm. So, Chris and I both went to UT, and he went through the film sequence, and I was in advertising. But we ended up working on a few projects here together: Life of David Gale, The Ringer, Idiocracy. But the concept of a film set is, where you just see, like, everyone playing together, making something incredible, making relationships. There's just no room for not getting along. But that's not even, it's just fun.
Yeah. I always look at it, and this can be from film crew to, musicians and concert crews and all that. I think they all are similar in the idea that there's so many different talented styles of people. But I always try to imagine on a deserted island, like, you need everybody. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got to help do all these things, and hopefully the talent keeps their part too. And obviously musicians one side, but actors and whatever. But everyone's got to play their part or do their role and keep everyone going.
Well, it's a sum of the parts sort of scenario, and it's an ecosystem sort of scenario.
Yes.
These things thrive because of each other. You really can't exist.
Yeah.
Like in a closed off system.
Right.
At least for to their epitomal.
Exactly. And
it's COVID.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, damn it. Did we invite the COVID to the show?
It crashes
and
the
our
party.
third guest here.
Yeah.
Right. We'll superimpose him later.
This episode is 6 feet apart. We are, yeah. No, but I try to imagine utilizing, and I can even say this our meeting up now, it could bridge something to where musicians that are looking for filmmakers, to put a project together, mm-hmm. you guys utilize your powers together. Or if they need visual artists, we've had other painters on mm-hmm. the show that have done murals for bands such as Black Pumas and such, where just all these creatives using what they got, getting paid, putting things together, and everybody grows, everybody eats, and that's the goal.
Right. Well, and sorry, I was having a conversation with COVID a second ago, but what I was meant to kind of fill out that topic on was similar to your story, right?
The Gibby Haynes story?
No, the Dell thing. So at the park, we saw couples coming and then getting to know an artist and then buying a piece and then realizing that it'd be great to commission this artist to do a mural in their business.
Yep.
And then that just going further and further. And so to me, arts and culture is why you travel to a city, right? You get there, you want to eat the food, you want to hear the music, you want to see the art. And so having more tech and businesses is amazing, and definitely get right in and start commissioning some pieces or hiring some, like that's when all that starts coming together.
Yep.
This bringing that piece in, that's why I was bringing up the film set, because craft services, wardrobe, all of those are arts on their own.
Yep.
Literally on their own, but you put them all together and then something else happens.
Yep.
So, and we've seen a lot of that. I felt like through the park, Google, Facebook, all these groups came in, started commissioning artists, and they're all on their trucks, all in their buildings. And a lot of that was happening at the park. And we're like, what?
Nike, Red Bull, Formula One, so many things. Like,
ACL
It
Fest.
seems like every weekend there's something popping.
We threw some after parties. I put a dent in your sponsored stash of alcohol there.
Yeah. Thank you, Benny Keith, for that. Yeah.
I thought you were going to go, I noticed. Like, what the?
We thought it was going to expire.
It was going bad, that whiskey.
That's right.
No, there was a lot of canned goods there that we put to some use. I broke a lamp, maybe.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah, but it's okay. I still
I
love you.
replaced it? I hung up string lights.
Yes.
I added lighting to the area that the lamp was.
It was
no
kind
more.
of an exchange.
It
Yeah.
was kind of an exchange.
No, it was our creative process. It was all a good thing. And on background, Black Fret has an office down at Native Hostel. During the pandemic, we switched to an all streaming model, and the very first stream episode we did was from Native, and we had Henry Invisible, we had Moving Panoramas come down and play. We learned how to make a trust fall, which is the very first drink ever sold, ever created at Native, which is delicious, and
Probably only have two. It's got some strength on it.
they're a little boozy. They're a little
It's
boozy.
delish. You would never know. You're like, wow.
Yeah. You look at the ingredient list and say, no, thank you. Nope.
And you
But
take
then
a
you
sip,
taste
and
it.
then you're like, I want to hold you.
Yeah, that's right. Can I get a picture, please?
Just, well,
So, that's such an inspirational space with such an amazing history in this town, and to be down there and surrounded by creatives all the time is awesome. Now, to invoke my wife yet again, I took her down there, and she walks in, she's like, wow, this place is cool. As we walk in through the south wing, and she sees the tattoo parlor and stuff like that, and we take a few more steps, and she says, honey, you work in a bar. I said, well, it's a cafe too, and they got things going on. They got a chiropractor and they've got a podcast.
She's like, you're gonna get drunk and get a tattoo. That's what you do. What do you mean go into the office? Yeah.
But you're going to be sitting up straight.
I'm meeting creatives.
I'm like, I'm a goldfish. This is my fishbowl, baby. This is,
Well, working in a bar is one thing. I lived there for a time.
Yes.
No, yeah, it was a blast, and super grateful for that and that opportunity. It was kind of a fun. It was like living in a hotel of sorts, living in it had the bar, had the coffee shop, things to tap into and tap out of.
Yeah, well, the fact that Antonio Madrid, created a place and a space like that, Antonio in a lot of ways personifies Austin to me because he says yes to everything.
I like how we hear the cops in the background as you mentioned Antonio's name.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you. He says yes to. It's like, he wants cool shit to happen. He wants to create cool stuff. He's a literal builder and a figurative builder, and empowers so many people. He'll eventually say no to you if you're not doing cool stuff. But the answer is yes. Let's give it a shot.
It's normally his answer is fuck yes.
Yes.
It's his mantra. But we're so proud to be collaborating with him, not just a native, but he is building.
Yeah. Earth bricks, man.
has
Earth
been building.
bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we made the 40,000 earth bricks during COVID, and that was all his idea. I think the other cool part too is, Antonio and I, we met when I was just opening the park and starting the farmers market, and he was sleeping on Greg Esparza's couch. And I just remember we met, and he's like, so I got this idea, like, would you like to have like a bike program at Hope Farmers Market? And so we created Hope Likes Bikes. And then, like a month later, he's like gone. And I'm like, Greg, what happened? He's like, oh, he went to New York. And but definitely, like, and then he came back and he was living on Baylor Street. Oh, we're just talking about him. He's not even a guest on the show.
Yeah.
But we've had him as, but for sure, it is another example of collaboration
Yep.
in this city where magic happens when we say yes together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then crazy happens when we say fuck yes together.
Right. Right. And crazy is good.
It's
crazy
so
is
good. It's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Makes a difference.
It does make a difference.
Yeah.
And there are drugs for that these days. To either enhance it or treat it. Depends on which way you want to. You want to turn the dial up or you want to turn the dial down.
Which way do you need to go?
Yeah.
It's the circle of life. Normally kind of use them all.
No, symbolism.
Well, yeah, I don't. I think you only said a broken lamp. I mean, they can't be.
It's that bad. Yeah.
Well, maybe,
I don't know. Well,
maybe
I'm
you
also-
tap into some of the video stuff. I feel like
Sure.
you're also a director.
Yeah, well, that was a pandemic pivot for me, actually. Certainly did everything with the artists I represent to, okay, how do we situate your lives? How do we make sure you guys are taken care of? What are we doing to make up for the lost income?
And how many local artists do you rep?
4 artists out of Austin, and then I have some that are more like digital marketing clients or management clients. But yeah, so it was the pivot of and every artist, as you guys are familiar with too, has a different kind of juggle of their sources of income. And so it was very interesting to see okay, who else had that job to fall back on, who had a side hustle to fall back on, who had to develop something new. I'm definitely proud to have helped turn Mobley and Capiac both into full-time musicians. So that was the okay.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, and it's been awesome, but that was certainly a pivot for them of okay, those sources of income, and certainly the live side of it is being gutted here momentarily. So everybody pivoted. One of the members of Capiac, Eric Piana, great visual artist as well. He actually his visual art career kind of popped off. He started doing outdoor murals and commissions and all these things, and the clothing line and things that really kind of helped supplant for him. And then myself, certainly adjusting for these things with them, but then also taking on a little bit more digital marketing side of things. And then ironically at some point, taking on a directorial, my music video directorial debut.
Dude, I was super impressed.
Which
It
was a fun one,
amazing.
yeah.
Which one was this?
So this is an artist called Von Lewis that I helped, and I played a little bit on their record. It's very close friends of mine. Some like
Just a little. Just
yeah,
a little.
So I'm directing their
Tambourine,
video.
no big
a
deal.
little different. No big deal.
Triangle.
Yeah. No, played keys. It was proper contribution. In any case, yeah, some former members of Walker Lucan's band and names and faces you'd probably be familiar with, but a new project. And so we recorded it probably 2019, early 2020, and then finally they were getting some stuff out and working on this video. And my friend Kyle, just knowing the various things I've done, was just like, hey, you don't direct videos, but I know you can just direct this for me.
Wow. Wow.
Which was a huge move of faith from him too. Which I did. So I was like, yeah, I could say yes to this, but I was also like, yeah, I guess somebody just had to ask me to do it.
And give me the name of the artist and the song again.
Von Lewis.
Okay.
The song's called "She's Home."
Okay.
And so look that video up.
So dope.
It came out really cool.
I'm super stoked to see.
He
that.
was like,
yeah.
you know what song it is. I want you to direct this video. And then the other resource he had was this access to this mansion, which was this billionaire's man cave that has a bowling alley, has a stage and sound, has a Blue Devil fighter jet hanging from over the basketball court. arcade,
You know.
all these various,
guy shit.
guys. No, it's
My
I should say
my
also
place.
like a
Oh.
man cave.
16,000 square foot man cave. You know what I mean? So it was a ridiculous 2-story facility. But he's like, we have that to work with, and then so I was like, okay, yeah, there's production value, and I had a great team. It was actually shot in Houston area. Had a great team on the film production side, DP and that. So I was the storytelling side of it, the narrative side of it, the planning a shot list and then working with the right people to execute it. But yeah, that was a blast, and amidst the kind of COVID filmmaking world too, where it was like, all right, we masked, we tested, we gathered to make this film. So
It's awesome.
that was a blast.
That is way awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And again, being at the festival and just seeing the amount of work that was created and submitted, and it's just, I don't know, I've found that one of the biggest strengths of creatives is always figuring out how to solve the problem. And
Gaff tape.
Yeah.
Gaff tape.
Oh, right.
Shout out to
90%
gaff
of the
tape.
answers. Shout out to Gaff Tape.
It's about 90%. Yeah, that's
Safety
accurate.
pins.
Yeah.
Safety pins. Velcro.
Yes.
It's too loud.
A good
Sharpies.
box of tape and things. Yes.
Just Sharpie it. Just Sharpie the logo
Bottle
out.
of
Just
water.
get up there. Just
Bottle of water. I mean, come
Bottle of
on. You never know.
Oh yeah. Troubleshooting, problem solving. That's
Oh yeah, I can't
So
remember.
much fun.
A friend of mine was telling about some set, and like the director and like they had a glass of white wine, and the director starts freaking out. He's like, "I told you red wine. I told you red wine." And my friend, she like just ran and she found someone eating some M&Ms. She's like, "Give me all the red M&Ms." And just went and like soaked the red M&Ms in water, and then came back. He's like, "Okay, great." Like, it's
Don't
problem
drink this.
solving.
turned it
Don't
into
drink
red
this.
Right.
wine. Wow.
But it's like,
What's in this? Peanuts?
It's very peanut forward on the palate.
It's a
I think
peanut
she threw
grease.
some browns in there too.
Getting notes
you know?
of red number
Turn to a
5.
peanut noir.
Oh man.
There's the
jeez.
pun.
Yeah.
You saved it till then.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
He was a good one.
Pinot Noir.
I can't believe he lasted this long.
I was trying. I'm
He had started us off with the ghost.
trying to behave.
The
You
ghost
know.
puns. He's
Don't worry.
it, yeah.
We bookend it.
Bookend it. Yeah. Little in the front of the book.
Yeah. Little grand opening, great closing.
Oh man. Well, okay. So bringing that up, I felt like the awards this year at ACL Live. I mean, just watching some really cool shit, that you guys create at Pershing and just programming, like really just keeping it all alive. But, just having these moments of like faith where, you got to make the decision, make the call, and like, we're doing it. Like,
Yeah, the decision to do a live Black Fret Ball this year was not one that was taken lightly, and I felt like I was riding the COVID waves because I was both canceling and scheduling events all year long. We'd start spiking, I'd cancel the events and move them, push them, whatever, and I felt like I was going to just thread the needle that the was it Delta? I guess it was Delta, yeah. The Delta curve would start coming down and hit about its bottom before we started coming back up right around December 4th, the date of the Black Fret Ball. And sure enough, that day was the lowest incidence of cases between Delta and Omicron. It's crazy.
Meant to be.
Meant to be. Meant to be. But traditionally, the Black Fret Ball, I was told I was crazy for wanting to do this. 15 bands, 2 songs each at the Paramount Theater in 2014, handed out $130,000 in grants to all 20 artists. It just got bigger from there. We wound up moving over to ACL Live. We set up the biggest stage that the room can handle, set 2 full backlines up on it, and we had 20 bands play 1 or 2 songs each
it was flawless.
this year. Thank you. Yeah, it was.
And you did live. You did a video after, or
We
in
did a
conjunction.
6-camera shoot, and it's on YouTube now. YouTube.com/blackfret. You can go and check it out. And I can't wait to do it again next year. Knock, knock, knock on the wood. It's so amazing. It's like a live mixtape, and the fact that all of those are Austin artists, hip hop, R&B, rock, Prima the Alien, whatever, she's her own genre.
She's amazing.
Was really wonderful. So I'm so glad y'all are there, and I'm excited to continue to inspire people.
Yeah.
By giving these stages to these musicians, and I'm helping out with some grants. We gave away $252,000 just in grants, and another $250,000 in payments for artists to play concerts over Zoom, and then another 100,000 or so just in payments, because we never allow an artist to play for free, and an artist should never play for free unless it's for friends and they want to. But never.
It was amazing to be there. From a technical side, to watch as somebody that's produced events, to watch the seamless feel of a band to go on two songs, and then a second later you got two more back to back to back to back, and then I love that even you, Matt, you had wardrobe changes.
Yeah.
Maybe you had a reversible jacket. I don't know what you did, but you just you have this wonderful way of bridging so many different people and connecting them all and keeping them smiling and keeping them inspired to give more, to give of their talent, or to give what they have the means to do. And the audience members, it's like, we've been missing that escape into inspiration too. And we can do it. We did do it over Zooms and over other ways of streaming, but to be in a live audience and to hear the claps and to, it's one of the highlights of that time.
It was restorative for me. It had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I was bound and determined to make sure that we got back there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know why I was just thinking about this, but with COVID, with audio art and just being able to go out and have fun, we saw kind of the death of karaoke rooms. But I'm now so curious. I know we brought it up before, but like, do you have a favorite karaoke song? Like if you had to, what's your shining moment?
My go-to karaoke move is to assemble an air band and perform "There Goes My Hero" by the Foo Fighters.
Oh,
Love that.
air band. Wow. That's next
Because
level.
then, you get 4 or 5 people and you air drumming. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all
Would
that-
you be on air keys? Wait,
No,
Foo doesn't have
air
keys,
guitar
do they?
and vocalist.
Air guitar
That's,
and-
as the champion of the leader of the air band.
Yes, I like that. I've been to those the air guitar and
There's
what's
like
the air
contest.
sex?
There's an air sex. Yes.
Yeah, which we
competition.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
But I had to go. I had to
I
go
got
a
it,
little
Chris.
extra.
I got it.
Sorry,
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't even mean to on that one. They just
Can't help
They
yourself.
just arise. They just erect themselves. Oh boy.
Seriously, but we're blood related.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah. There's no.
I could walk out, but
Just as Matt said, just trying to mold
He's
the
with
clay
me.
that we got.
That's
you know?
right. Work with what you-
if
yeah.
it doesn't get to where you just squish it back together and then you try again.
And then you pee on it and you fire it.
there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I'm a crooner kind of guy, so I'll do the like Bobby Darin,
Yeah.
Mac the Knife,
Oh, nice.
that kind of thing.
That's great.
Classy.
Yeah.
But
I have-
you
I
gotta
have-
assemble a rat pack or something. That's what you do.
Well, the prop is right there with me all the time. That
that's true.
That trust fall from Native.
Oh, wow.
that I'm drinking.
That's the liquid
that's my
courage.
costume right there. It's hey, look, I'm rat packing.
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
perfect.
absolutely. But I like the idea of a virtual rat pack. I can get them up there with me, and we can all smoke and
Yeah.
exactly, crack bad jokes at each other, and yeah, it's epic. Yeah, it's been forever since I've done karaoke though, and not just because of COVID, because of I don't know. Do we get more lame as we get older? Does doing less karaoke make you more lame or less lame? I don't know. I think it all depends on. I've had some horrible karaoke sessions.
It's all context.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
I've also
it
had
is.
some of the best times of my life.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is, a fun art form all on its own.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting when we get into, augmented reality, VR and stuff, because this, I don't know, people are going to be able to be there with you. I mean, just all this technology and audio and visual stuff. what are karaoke rooms going to look like in the future?
Wow.
The metaverse karaoke. Oh.
Yeah.
You thought you were embarrassing.
They're gonna
now.
leave. They're gonna leave the room I'm in.
Just wait till you're in
I'll
a.
tell you that. Yeah. You hear all the clicks that like at the end of Zoom calls, click, 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 and then the last one. Hi, anyone else still here?
Just
me?
avatars
At least
dropping
with,
off.
at least with the virtual one, it's like, oh, sorry, my fiber dropped. Wi-Fi down.
Yeah, it's like coming up next.
How
Chris
long's
is
that
going to
song?
sing a song by Hoobastank, and I'm like, right before I'm like, I'm not a perfect person. Click, 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 click. What can you do?
I've had times where I'll love a song so much that I'll want to sing it, but don't try to do Tom York if you're a bass.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. Stay in your swim lane. Don't.
That,
I love
no matter
Radiohead,
how
but
much
I'm not gonna-
liquid courage you
You gotta
have.
share that with Mr. Dave Chappelle, living legend.
Oh, now
I was fortunate to be in a room where he did sing some karaoke, and he goes to creep. He creeps hard.
yeah,
creeps
and,
hard.
and
He's
I've
awesome.
seen that and wins on style points.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's that he can pull off, but that's Dave Chappelle singing Tom York. I made the mistake of not trying to do Matt Ott singing Tom York. I did
yes.
Matt Ott trying to sing like Tom York doing Tom York. Yeah, and that's just.
That's false and
Yeah,
falsetto.
like my self-esteem is just plummeting as I'm recalling that moment. I'm just like, oh my God, it took me years to get over that. And I thought I had blocked it, but no, it's back. No, so
sometimes they're just fake plastic trees.
sometimes.
Yeah, oh my god.
That was the
man.
song.
Oh,
That was the
really?
song.
Was that the like, yeah, like
Yeah.
you really hit the.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Bringing it back, you know.
Throwing salt everywhere.
I'm
Yeah.
a Salt Bay.
Well, okay. So another great part that we have with this show is we like to ask each guest, what would you like to have on a brick at the park? You know, what would be a quote or an inspiration or a name or, you know, just being a creative in Austin and, you know, just thinking of what you would have to say. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be your headstone tomb or your tombstone, sorry.
Pizza. Sorry.
You like Tombstone Pizza? That's the
I'm starving.
There's
the
so
worst of
much
the
good
frozen
pizza in
pizzas,
this town.
yeah.
We've got a Via 313 cup on the desk, and you're invoking.
I just
Red
it's
Baron.
it leads you to where you go.
I know. I'm just trying to match your bad jokes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
dad
man.
jokes. Ain't no bad joke like a dad joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
Here they go.
That's not what I want on the brick, by the way.
oh, okay.
I do not want ain't no dad
Too
joke
late.
like
It's too
that.
late. It's already being
Too late. Your break has been
The
made.
printer's outside the room, just going all in.
No one's done that one yet.
Matt Ott.
I have a pair of
Matt
socks.
ought have thought of something better. All right.
I'll go back to story I told earlier. And no, I don't want to put butthole surfers on a brick. I want to put become an Austinite on a brick because I think it's an aspirational statement that is instructive and it is a call to action and it makes you think, what is an Austinite? You know, and to me, it's a creator. And if you're putting fuel in the tank to create, if you're creating yourself, if in consuming the creation you are spreading the love, we are all creators in some way. From art comes life, and I think to be an Austinite is to be an artist, and also be nice when you drive. You wave. You can always tell an old Austinite because
Yep.
when someone
Let you
lets
in.
you in,
Yeah,
you do the little wave.
yeah. Oh,
And
it's
if you've
great. Hand out
been
the
in Austin,
window.
if you've been in Austin for longer than 20 years, you still wave,
Yeah.
and new people don't.
There's been many
So
times.
wave, damn it, wave.
There's been many times I'm like, just fucking wave. Just wave. Change my whole day.
Imagine if
Wave.
everyone-
Change my,
yeah.
Just a wave.
Yeah.
I think I saw a wave. Oh no, they were checking their phone. They're checking their fucking phone. All right, they waved.
And we know those exact on ramps and exit ramps. We know the ones. That,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, by 45th, that
this
you want to
point.
wave.
All of them.
You want to wave. You're forced.
You go. You
Yeah.
go ahead. You go ahead.
Yep.
I like that one. That's a good one though.
Yeah, it is.
Coming off tonight.
All right.
That's good.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No
Follow up.
pressure. Yeah. I think the best answer I've got, and the sentiment I will impart here is save Red River. Let's go with
Nice.
keep our music venue culture alive, and don't overthrow it too much and destroy what why we're all moving here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The Red River Cultural District is its history that, is precious. Like we've already seen some of my favorite spots, including my favorite as a hip hop head, Plush Bar, kind of go down in flames. But there's so many outlets that musicians need in that area. Shouldn't change. It should just get stronger.
Yeah.
But it takes work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, interestingly, in These Walls Can Talk, Red Wassenich came to find me and share how much he loved the project, and because he came up with the term "Keep Austin Weird," and we've talked about that a lot. And so, even you saying that, and even what you said too, it's a part of growth and change, and we grow together. And what are these next phrases that we're going to come up with to encourage and support? I think the Keep Austin Weird thing has already evolved into so many other but now the Become an Austinite and Save Red River, these are our new
How big is the brick, and how small can the type be?
right.
Because he wasn't
Like, I was
becoming
I was
Austinite.
trying to think of a short thing, but we
I mean, for you, Matt, we got big bricks. We got big bricks. Don't you worry.
It was a cold, dark morning when Matt Ott was born.
You get a multi-paragraph.
I don't know.
You can do like adventure bricks where like a story will be told across 20 bricks at Hope, and
Well, you
have
decide
to-
your path,
Yeah, and you have
C
to
brick
find
33
Yeah.
for this, C
Yeah.
brick.
Oh, I like that.
Choose
Yeah.
your own adventure. Yeah.
Yeah.
or there's a
that.
symbol on them, like there's the circle story, the square story, the triangle story, and
interesting.
you have to find the different ones.
Correlative.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
maybe too esoteric.
Hey,
Yeah, the PlayStation.
it's all fun. Hey, you never know, man. It starts with an idea. Sometimes it's
Oh, we got Antonio. We say yes to everything. Just whatever you need,
killer,
whatever you
dude.
like.
Fuck it, dude. Let's do it.
Well, the
Killer.
fact that
Fuck it, dude.
Black Fret music is going to collide so beautifully with art over and over and over again at Hope makes me really excited. The fact that the intentionality with which Hope is being brought into existence in this new incarnation is going to I know will create some magic. Hugely confident that there will be next level mind blowing experiences that are really going to inspire over and over.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for sure. But, and again, having 10 years of data to work to really learn that these are things we don't get to do much, but both of you happen to also be examples of being around long enough where you remember from the first year to the next year and what was really beneficial. And maybe that didn't work so much. And let's focus a little bit more over here and let's not do that again, that all that stuff, you start putting it together and then you're like, oh, okay, this will be what, and to elevate and go to the next thing and then figure out how we can do some fucking new shit.
Yeah.
That's, the fun.
Yeah.
It's molding that clay, changing it up, pissing on it, throw it into the kiln.
That's right.
Heat it up, eat it up, whatever.
I think there's still room in the class. You should all join me. You should all join me. Support the Contemporary. I mean, the art education at the Contemporary is another huge resource in this town. There's so many magical things to do to become an Austinite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a
Support our
great
culture.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. So thank you guys for joining, sharing a lot. Yeah, we are so thankful to have you all here. So appreciate everything, and we look forward to so much more as we move forward creatively in this town.